My name is Delilah, and there are things I wish I could erase from memory, things no one believes when I try to explain. I never wanted to be part of it. I only wanted answers. It began with loneliness. Nights bled into mornings as I sat in front of my laptop, chasing distractions, drowning in the blue light glow that made my apartment feel like a tomb. The surface internet felt shallow, predictable, a cycle of smiles that weren't real, conversations that meant nothing, a world of noise pretending to be alive. I wanted something hidden, something forbidden, something that might make me feel again. That's when I read about the dark web. People warned about it like it was a haunted house, but that only tempted me more. I told myself I could handle it. I told myself I was just curious. At first it was exactly what the rumors said. Marketplaces filled with things you'd never see in daylight. Fake passports, untraceable weapons, pills with names I didn't recognize, stolen accounts, entire lives for sale. It was disturbing, but not what I was looking for. I wanted something darker, something that whispered back when you stared too long. And then I found the whispers. Threads that spoke of something deeper, something even the criminals avoided mentioning directly. The red rooms. Most laughed them off as urban legends, digital campfire stories for hackers and thrill seekers. The kind of story whispered in late-night forums to scare newcomers away from places they didn't belong. But a few swore they were real. Live shows streamed from hidden basements and abandoned warehouses, places beyond jurisdiction and morality. Places where people weren't just watching, they were deciding what happened. The thought of it slithered into my mind and refused to leave. It gnawed at me through the day, through meals I forgot to eat, through the hours when the city outside my window fell asleep. The more I tried to dismiss it, the louder it grew. What if it was real? What if somewhere right now people were paying to watch someone suffering in real time? What if proof existed just beyond the next click, just one more layer deeper than anyone should go? I told myself it was curiosity, research, fascination with rumor. But it was hunger. I wanted to know the truth, even if it hurt to see it. I spent night after night hunched over the glow of my screen, scrolling through fragments of code and screenshots posted by users who vanished days later. My eyes ached, my fingers trembled on the keyboard. I forgot what time felt like. The air in my apartment turned stale, heavy with the smell of burnt coffee and fear. Every few hours I convinced myself to stop, then 5 minutes later I'd be back searching again. Each click felt like a step further into something alive, something that wanted to be found. And then I found it. A post buried beneath dozens of false links and dead ends, sitting like a trap that knew I'd come. The username was just a string of numbers, but the message was simple. For proof, send payment. No refunds, no lies, no explanation, no reassurance, only a promise that sounded too confident to be fake. My stomach twisted, my pulse thudded in my ears. Logic screamed at me to shut the computer, to walk away, to go outside and breathe real air again. But logic didn't matter anymore. The obsession had become a living thing inside me, whispering that if I didn't click, if I didn't see, I would never know peace again. My curiosity had teeth now. It bit down hard and I bled willingly. I sent the money. Minutes later, an email appeared in my inbox. No subject, no name, no signature, just a single line. You're in. Don't back. Those words felt like a door closing behind me. My hands shook as I opened it. The link inside was short and unremarkable, almost disappointingly plain. My cursor hovered over it for too long. My reflection warped in the black glass of the monitor. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that once I clicked, there was no undoing it, but I clicked anyway. The screen went black. The hum of my laptop was suddenly deafening. I could hear my own heartbeat in my throat. For several long seconds nothing happened, no video, no sound, just the dark void staring back. Then with a flicker, the chat box appeared. Dozens of lines of text scrolled faster than I could read, usernames made of numbers and symbols, sentences in half a dozen languages, all screaming at once. It was chaos, a living river of commands. My mouth went dry, my mouse froze over the screen, and then the feed lit up. The camera angle was fixed, the frame centered on a single chair in a concrete room. The lighting was low except for one glaring red bulb hanging above the figure slumped in the seat. The person, no, the victim, was tied down with thick straps, wrists bound so tightly that their fingers had turned pale. The air seemed thick even through the screen. I could see their chest rise and fall in shallow, trembling breaths. The light above him glowed a deep, angry red, harsh, unblinking, bleeding into every corner of the room like liquid fire. It made the concrete walls look wet, like the color itself was alive and spreading. The camera zoomed out slightly, and I saw shadows move around him, tall shapes in black clothing, faces hidden behind masks, with blank, unfeeling eyes. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Commands from the chat scrolled down the right side of the screen, and they followed them, word for word. Someone typed, "Make him talk." Another typed, "Slowly." The figures obeyed. The sound that came next wasn't human. It was a scream that started as breath and broke into something ragged and desperate. It echoed in the tiny speakers of my laptop, sharp and metallic, like a blade drawn across glass. It was real. Too real. The kind of sound that doesn't fade when the video ends. The kind that carves itself into your bones. I wanted to believe it was staged, that I was watching actors, that somewhere off-screen there was a director yelling, "Cut!" But every twitch, every sob, every tremor of that man's body told me the truth. It wasn't just noise. It was pain that carried weight, pain that lived and breathed through the pixels on my screen. The chat cheered. People sent more money. The masked figures moved in perfect rhythm, like this was something they'd done countless times before. And in that moment, as I sat frozen in the dark, I realized the horror wasn't only in what I saw on the screen. It was in the hundreds of people watching with me, typing, laughing, paying. They weren't horrified. They were entertained. And that's when the real fear took root. Not just that the red rooms were real, but that humanity could make them so. The sound of it didn't fade. It stuck to the walls of my skull. My stomach dropped. My hands shook so violently I nearly fell from my chair. I slammed the laptop shut, heart pounding, whispering to myself over and over that it couldn't be real. It had to be staged. It had to be fake. But deep down, I already knew it wasn't. The next day, the world felt off. My apartment too quiet. My reflection too pale. Then my webcam light blinked on by itself. I froze. It stayed on for a full minute before going dark again. That night an email arrived. No subject, no body, just a photo attachment. It was me, watching the screen the night before. The red light reflected in my eyes. Another email followed an hour later, my address. Then another, a short video of me walking down my own street, filmed from across the road. I stopped sleeping. I unplugged my laptop, covered every camera, taped the cracks around the door, but it didn't help. My phone would buzz with calls from unknown numbers. When I answered, I'd hear only breathing, or worse, soft laughter. I thought about going to the police, but what would I say? Someone online is watching me because I saw a murder. They'd look at me like I was crazy, so I pretended everything was fine. I went to work, smiled at people, forced myself to be normal. But the shadows followed. Faces I didn't know lingered near my building. A van parked outside too long. Once I caught a reflection in a store window. Someone wearing a mask, just standing there watching. I told myself it wasn't real. That night, they came. The door burst open. Rough hands grabbed me before I could even scream. A bag went over my head. Rope cut into my wrists, my legs. I kicked, bit, screamed until my throat burned, but no one heard. I was thrown into a vehicle. The engine roared, and the world became noise and darkness. When the bag came off, I saw it with my own eyes. The red room. The light was the same red glow, heavy and suffocating. Cameras surrounded me, mounted on rails, hanging from the ceiling, blinking silently. The masked figures moved like ghosts, efficient, emotionless. One of them shoved me into the chair. The chains were cold. When they locked around my wrists, something inside me broke. I tried to scream, but a hand covered my mouth. The chat came alive on a nearby monitor. Dozens of viewers, hundreds, bidding, commenting, giving commands. My name appeared in the title bar, Delilah. Time lost meaning. The red light never changed. I don't know how long I was there, hours, days, maybe weeks. It all blended together into one endless nightmare of commands and pain and silence between them. They didn't want me dead. Not yet. They wanted me watched. I stopped sleeping. I stopped thinking. I stopped hoping. I thought that was where I'd die. But one part of me refused to die quietly. I watched everything. The way the guards moved, the rhythm of their shifts, on the sound of the locks, the way one console flickered when a key was pressed too hard. One of them, taller than the others, always left his terminal unlocked for just a few seconds at a time. I memorized the keys, the commands, the layout of the room. I waited, and then it happened. One night, chaos erupted in the chat. Something about a payment error. The stream glitching. Two guards argued, one stepped away. The other turned his back. My right hand slipped free, the skin raw from the metal cuff but loose enough to move. My pulse thundered. I lunged for the console, typing commands I'd memorized from the screen. For a moment, nothing happened. Then one of the feeds went black. Someone shouted. The lights flickered. I ran. The corridors twisted endlessly, lined with red bulbs that pulsed like veins. Alarms wailed, footsteps closing in behind me. I could smell smoke. Just when I thought I'd be dragged back, the walls shook with an explosion. Gunfire cracked through the air. Floodlights cut through the red haze. Armed men stormed the building, shouting commands I couldn't understand. One of them grabbed me, pulled me to the ground, told me I was safe. I didn't believe him. They said they had been tracking the Red Room for months, waiting for the right moment. They said I was lucky. I don't feel lucky. They wrapped me in a blanket, gave me water, told me it was over. But the Red Room isn't gone. It lingers like smoke, poisoning everything it touches. I see it in the corner of my eyes, in reflections that move when I don't. Even now in the quiet of my apartment, I feel the red light burning against my skin. Sometimes, when I open my laptop, the screen flickers, just once, just enough for my reflection to move half a second too slow. Last night, an email arrived. No subject, no name, just 3 words. We miss you. And I know the truth now. No one ever truly escapes the Red Room, not even me.